So modern women across the world are wondering, why doesn't a man open up? How come a man won't be vulnerable with me? Why won't a man show me his true feelings?
I want any man who comes across this video to do me a favor and go watch the entire video that I am about to show you. I'm just going to show you some clips to show you the general idea of it. But I find that no matter how much I talk about toxic masculinity and its harms, and the fact that men and women both need to work together to do away with these harmful ideas, men tend not to believe me that toxic masculinity is a real thing. And please forgive my frustration in this matter, because I've tried to talk about this about 1,000,000 times now on TikTok, and every time I bring up toxic masculinity, I get told by men that it doesn't exist. But it does, and comments like the one below are proof that it exists.
As a boy, all I wanted was to be accepted and liked by the other boys. But that acceptance meant I had to acquire this almost disgusted view of the feminine. And since we were told that feminine is the opposite of masculine, I either had to reject embodying any of these qualities or face rejection myself. This is the script that we've been given, right? Girls are weak and boys are strong. This is what's being subconsciously communicated to hundreds of millions of young boys and girls all over the world. I am not saying that everything we've learned is toxic, okay? I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with you or me. And men, I'm not saying we have to stop being men. But we need balance. The only way things will change is if we take a real honest look at the scripts that have been passed down to us from generation to generation. But there was another role I learned how to play from my dad, who I discovered learned it from his dad. That role was to suffer in secret. And now 3 generations later, I find myself playing that role too. So why couldn't my grandfather just reach out to another man and ask for help? Why does my dad to this day still think he's got to do it all on his own? I know men who would rather die than tell another man that they're hurting. But it's not because we're just all like strong, silent types. It's not. A lot of us men are really good at making friends and talking, just not about anything real. So some of the ways that I've been practicing breaking free of this behavior are by creating experiences that force me to be vulnerable. So if there's something I'm experiencing shame around in my life, I practice diving straight into it, no matter how scary it is. And sometimes even publicly.
Many months later.
Bombshell lawsuit from a Hollywood star. Blake Lively is accusing her It Ends With Us co-star, Justin Baldoni, of sexual harassment. The complaint graphically details multiple allegations of harassment against both Baldoni, who directed the film, and the producer. Things were so bad on set that her husband, Ryan Reynolds, joined a meeting to address Baldoni's behavior. His attorney has denied the allegations.
Dang, that's terrible. That's terrible. Wow. Toxic masculinity, huh?
There is no way that you can tell me that women go through 152 guys and they're not like numb on the inside. There's not some guys they really liked and wish they would have gotten a call the next day and they didn't. They're not getting affection. They're not getting love. They're drinking too much wine. They're out partying. They feel like an object. All these things happen. You can't tell me that that's not then going to be a problem when they meet the nice guy and they decide, and they've got all this damage that they've incurred. Do they know that they're hurting themselves? I wonder.
No, they don't. They don't. They've bought the lie that a woman and a man can have as much as they want, and it's going to affect them equally. Like it's not. They've bought this complete fallacy that women can have as much as they want.
That we're the same
without any repercussion. Like men can. Like I get flack for this all the time. Obviously, given my quite significant body count, about 4 times what that lady's was, but it just doesn't you know me, I'm a pretty well-adjusted guy, I like to think.
Yes.
Given what I've been through.
Yes.
Like, and what I've done.
Interestingly, Sterling has this like really checkered past and has like a more balanced nervous system than I do. So I don't know what's going on here, man, but it's the difference between a man and a woman.
That's the difference between men and women.
Yeah.
We're programmed a bit differently. The damage that people talk about, like it's this sort of ethereal term that gets thrown around. Like, what does that actually mean, right? When a woman has slept around with quite a lot of men, what that actually means, like biologically, is that she doesn't produce as much oxytocin. Mm-hmm. She doesn't, which is what you use to pair bond with somebody, right? Which is what creates love, right? And this affects women. doesn't really affect men. It does affect women. As that body count increases, that partner number increases, like the amount of oxytocin she will release from things like orgasms, things like holding hands, hugging, cuddling, like just in general, the amount of oxytocin she's going to produce is going to go down.
Okay, so then she's less likely to bond with that guy that she ultimately, and then is she more likely to cheat, honestly?
Yes, that too, yes. I mean, that's statistically proven. The greater number of sexual partners a woman has, the higher her likelihood of cheating in a marriage. That's been proven.
Because then if you're unable to like bond in that way, every guy wants these women that have this like tunnel vision, right? For them. I mean, I get why, right? Because then she's going to be more faithful, she's going to be more loyal. And the truth of the matter is that you are more likely to get that if you get someone who doesn't have a high body count, who doesn't have a long dating history, who falls madly in love. Maybe you're like the first love. There is something about that first love. It is real for a woman, maybe not for a guy. The first person she has sex with, the first person she takes a vacation with, these firsts get stuck and it becomes a really powerful thing. I actually had a friend who had fallen in love like right out of college, fell in love with a guy. He wasn't even like this really amazing guy, but she fell in love with him first vacation, first time she had first everything. She left that guy ultimately, but was somehow like stuck on him for 20 years. It was like decades. She couldn't get over it because it was like embedded in her hormones, all of those first. So it's really true.
As a guy, it's an incredible experience being able to give a woman the first of anything.
Right.
Like, I'm the first person to take her out overseas. I'm the first person to take her to a nice restaurant. I'm the first person, like, forget the sexual stuff. Like, even though that's also part of it. But like any of these like life experiences, if you're the first person to show her something about the world, well, you feel significant as a man. You have this sense of like, oh, like she's mine. I can grow with this woman now. I can show her the world, and I'm not being manipulated. I'm not being like because she did this with some other guy, And she's not likely to leave you because now she's associating all these incredible things with you, not with like, oh, well, I did this last week with Tommy and 2 years ago I went to Malibu with, like it becomes like you're just a number in the system as opposed to be. She's not comparing your experience with you to like this part of, oh, this one was better. This restaurant was nicer. That trip to Dubai was nicer or whatever.
Right.
I think a lot of these situations, and I'm not condoning that, some men go out here and they just play the field. Shouldn't be doing that. So I don't want to condone that type of behavior. I don't want to encourage that type of behavior. I don't want to recommend that type of behavior. But I liken it to some things men are able to do with minimal, let's say an athlete. So while an athlete might be able to go out there just naturally gifted and jump out the gym. He see it, you pass him the rock, he go over there and dunk. Easy enough. But you can't. You got to practice doing it because you're not as athletic as him. That doesn't mean that you're less than him. It just means that he's better than you in this area. And modern women can't quite accept that men are better than them. Men are more superior than them in some of these areas.
Women often talk about the mental load that they take on in a relationship. And this usually refers to the load that they carry mentally when it comes to taking care of household chores. And sometimes it can be taking care of the kids. So it isn't just the act of doing. It's not just the stuff they have to do, which often they have to do more of. It's also keeping a running list in their mind, everything that needs to get done. And no doubt there is a lot of validity to this because unfortunately, there are a lot of men who expect women to do things for them. That is what their expectation is in the relationship. But there is something that I think does not get a lot of recognition, and that is the mental load that men carry in a relationship. This mental load I like to call the emotional diffuser. The emotional diffuser is the person in the relationship whose job it is to diffuse every heightened emotional state. Now, obviously, this does not occur in every relationship, just like it doesn't occur in every relationship that the man is not the one taking account for the things that need to be done in the house. I'm not suggesting that this happens all the time, but I think this is a problem that men experience that they don't talk about. One, because men are not good at sharing what they're experiencing, and two, because often when they express this in the relationship, it can be flipped back on them as if it is their problem. So what do I mean by emotional diffusion? This is when one person in the relationship, in this example, the woman, does not know how to regulate her own emotions. And so the job to regulate all of the emotions in the relationship becomes the man's job. Now, this is different than regular supporting. Obviously, in any relationship, we should be supporting each other if we're emotional, if we're upset, and that is our job for both people to support each other when we're having a difficult time. But in this sort of relationship, the man has the sole responsibility to diffuse all negative emotion for the woman. The woman comes to him with all of her upset, her anxiety, her fears, her worries. But she does not take the responsibility to regulate the emotions herself. So she comes to him, he tries his best to listen, to understand, but that isn't enough. She also wants him to make her anxiety and fears and negative emotion go away. So he is not just there to support, he actually has to do the fixing for the emotion. And for a woman who's particularly bad at regulating her emotions, this can be a weekly, sometimes a daily occurrence. So the man has to stay stoic. He cannot have emotions of himself. He cannot even express how he feels about this constant barrage of emotional regulation, because in the relationship, it is his job to do all of this work. And of course, because in this scenario, the woman is the one who's expressing all the emotion, the man does not feel he is allowed to express emotion, because oftentimes if he does, that may elicit an emotion from the woman, and now the conversation has to refocus back on her emotions. And I think this may be more common than people give credit for. Men often feel like they have to be the stoic bearers of everyone else's emotions. They have to stand there and sit there and just take the barrage of emotions. And again, in a healthy relationship, of course, it is a man's responsibility, is anyone's responsibility to listen and be supportive of their partner. But in no relationship should it be the expectation that the other person is responsible for not only listening to, but managing and eliminating all negative emotions. This is impossible. So I'm curious if there's any men out there who have experienced this in relationships where they feel like no matter what they do, it's never enough. There's a constant feeling of having to listen, to manage, to fix, when the other person is not taking full responsibility to take care of their own emotions. Now, obviously, this can happen in the other direction, right? That could be, the man could be in this scenario. Obviously, this is a generalization. This is not the case in every situation, but because there are a lot of videos talking about the mental load that women take on, I think it's important we talk about the mental and emotional load that men often take on.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Modern women don't realize they're dumping the mental load that they say they have back on the man. They're dumping it back on the man, and the man has to fix it. You never hear about a man. He's not saying anything. He just has to go out there and do it. You don't want him to say anything. He just has to go out there and do it. Just be a man.
Open up to a woman?
Yeah.
Never. No, never.
When's the last time you think you've opened up to a woman?
We don't.
Yeah, your whole life.
They gonna tell you can't.
Because you know why?
But it's a trap.
Because you know why?
I'm trapped like a motherfucker.
No, I'm going to tell you why. Because once you do, whenever something go down, they're going to throw it back in your face. That's why.
That's real.
That's why. So you can't ever.
That's why you crackers, your dad left.
Yeah.
A man will open up one time in his life, one time only, more than likely. A lot of women say, why doesn't my man want to open up to me? Why doesn't he tell me what he's going through, what's on his mind? It's because he's been there before. I've been there. Most other men have been there. You tell a woman everything on your mind. You tell them what you're going through, how you're feeling. They turn around and step on that shit. And after a man feels betrayed like that, especially from a woman, his woman, he'll never open up again. And once a man has that happen to him, where he tells that stuff to a woman and she crushes it, then he thinks, well, why would I tell another woman that? Not only because I don't want that happening again, but how is this woman even going to help me? If I sit there and tell her these things that are on my mind, tell her why I'm stressed out, tell her why I'm, feeling the way I feel, what is she going to bring that's going to help that situation? Will it feel good just saying it to her? Probably not, because then you got to risk that betrayal. What good does it bring? And something you don't want to do is nag your man as to why he's not opening up. Just tell me what's on your mind. Please tell me. Why do you never open up to me? He's still not going to do it. The more you sit there and beg for him to do it, the chances that he is actually going to do it goes to the shitter. He's got to want to say it. He's got to want to sit there with you and just kind of spill what's on his mind. He doesn't want to have to do it because you're telling him or asking him to do it. So keep that in mind.
A lot of these modern women, even though they say they do, they don't know how to handle the man's emotions. They don't want to try to learn. They don't want to do it. A lot of them think that they're princesses and they're divas, and they don't think it's their job to support a man.
Hey, what are you doing? I came out to check on you. What are you doing? Thought you were working.
I'm looking at this.
What is it?
It's wire. It's a spool of wire. And I'm almost out of it. Can you see the spool of wire?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost out of it. I've had this spool of wire for like 40 years. I bought it like this it's not a piece of a long time ago, but it's like 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense? This is what's left. Does that make
I'm
sense?
sorry to hear that, and sad for you, but you're wearing your Jets hat, and I'm a little concerned right now that you're wearing your Jets hat. I thought that's why you were crying.
Okay, I'm done.
Genuinely keep that to yourself. Like, I don't want to see you crying. I don't want to see you sad. Like, okay, something upset you today. Don't tell me. Don't look at me for like a hug, a shoulder to cry on, because I ain't going to be there. Let's get it. Let's go. I can't.
I'm not gonna lie. That video was actually funny as fuck. Now, apparently she's kidding. Who knows if she really is or not. But that shit is just fucking funny. Like, and I know there's gonna be niggas watching that shit and they're taking that shit serious. But genuinely, this is why men don't open up, because like, it's already hard for us to be vulnerable as men. We're supposed to be tough, right? And then y'all be joking around, fucking around like this. That's fucking insane. But there's a girl in the comments. She said, like, if men suffer in silence, why am I always hearing about it? That shit was so fucking funny. Like, genuinely a funny ass video, but that's like y'all want us to open up at the end of the fucking day. Don't be doing no bullshit video like that.
Yeah, I think it's okay for you to kind of rib, give the man a good ribbing. But the issue is modern women are weaponizing a man's feelings against him. He knows it's not a joke, because your boy's gonna do it. They gonna give you a little joke. He's gonna be a little joke. But a man knows, oh, these guys really love me. These guys really care about me. They might joke with you about your weight and they be dead serious about it. But they really love you. I don't know what it is, but men know that men are, I know he's not trying to tear me down. I know he's kidding with me. He's serious, but he don't mean it to tear me down and make me feel bad about myself, like make me feel that I'm less than.
Called him and he just sounded wrong. It just sounded wrong. And I remember hanging up the phone and just being like, am I going to go home and he's going to be there but not be there? That day was so scary. That was the point in time where he just started talking. What he said to me, he goes, Till, I don't need your advice. I don't want your opinions. I just want you to listen. And I was just like, fuck, I just need to sit here and listen to him. And he just needs to be able to get it off his chest. And that is enough.
They just want somebody to listen to them. They don't want you to fix it. They just want you to listen to them while they take all this boiling stuff inside their head and put it out so they can actually hear it. And sometimes that helps them sort out all these thoughts that's in their head. They need to just put it out so they can hear it. And they don't need you to demean them by saying, okay, I'll fix this. Just...
Men are afraid to open up to their women because they have been trained that it's not safe to do so.
Trained.
Women, yes, they have been groomed and trained by their past experiences and relationships with women that it's not safe to be vulnerable because a woman will throw it back in their face. I just did that video about how Shaquille O'Neal and Country Wayne were talking about how you can't ever be down to your woman, and the responses in the comments, and I was like, no, a man should be able to open up. There were so many men that were like, although this is a great thought, this is not how it is.
And it's funny because K. Michelle literally just did a post saying that how she feels like she's the man in the relationship if her man ever cries in front of her. Like, how dare you?
That's why men don't feel safe to be vulnerable.
And if a man is not coming to you, so everybody say, man, he don't talk. You just say, I don't know. Baby, you okay? Yeah, fine. It's like I do with these players that I train. He don't talk. His mama, he don't talk. The woman, he talks all the time. He don't talk to you.
Yeah.
And here's the hard truth. If every man talks all the time, put him on a video game, you'll see a whole new boy light up.
Right.
They don't talk to you because they don't feel safe.
Right.
That if they showed you their true self, they won't be judged.
Yeah, you judge them.
Yeah. And they brought up their porn, they brought up their weed, they brought up their alcohol, they brought up the women, that you're going to get so attached to that you're going to judge them and never see them.
Work every day. There are sacrifices that I make as a father all the time. I'm not around my daughters as much as I would like to be. I'm not with my family as much as I would like to be. Sometimes they resent it and what have you. I don't care. And you know why I don't care? Because I grew up starving. And as a result of that, anything that I do to ensure the well-being of my family moving forward, even in the event that I'm not around, as selfish as that may be, I'm willing to do it because I knew what it was like to grow up with nothing. These football players make those decisions every single day as men. Provide, protect. That's our number one priority. That's how most of us think. And that plays a role into the kind of decisions men make, even when they're deemed selfish, foolish, ill-advised, or whatever. It comes with it when you're a man.
And this is from the mind of a man that's making, what, $20 million? Trying to help you guys out. You guys are asking for something from me and then holding it against me when I'm trying to make sure that long after I leave, my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, my great-great-grandkids, future generations are set. And this is the balance that men have to, this is the thing that a lot of men have to live with. So they just keep it all to themselves. If I tell you, you'll never understand. If I tell you my vision, my business plan, you'll never understand. There's a few women out there that really get it, and then they help push their man forward. I was talking to a guy today, opened up a barbershop, and he had to go through so many things to open up that barbershop. It's a young man, 29 years old, had to go through a lot of things to get that barbershop open. Man, I had to go through this. I had to get the permit for that. Man, they came over and inspected it, man, and they delayed this and yada, yada, yada. Some of these modern women will look at that. Oh, he ain't a boss. He ain't got it. You call me back in a few years. You know, well, you got potential right now, but call me back in a few years when everything is set up. What she means to say is call me back in 5 years. when you're in the green, when you got cash flow, call me back in a few years when your barbershop is, not only when your barbershop is making money, but when millionaires are coming through your barbershop. So I can stop in and be the person that kind of talks to them and becomes a socialite, and oh, she just seeing around the office, and oh, she's such a nice person. So basically trying to ride on my coattail, basically not wanting to talk to me, basically not wanting to be around me. And that's why I didn't tell you my business plan in the first place, because I knew that you really didn't like me like that.
People always say men should open up more, but most men didn't become quiet for no reason. We learned that the hard way. The first time a man talks about his struggles, he's usually told to toughen up, to stop complaining, or that other people have it worse. So eventually he stops explaining himself. He handles things alone. The stress, the pressure, the fear of failing, all of it. So eventually he stops explaining himself. And then people wonder why men seem distant. It's not because we don't feel anything. It's because we learned no one was really listening.
If you know that this man is opening up to you, don't use that against him. If you tell me something in private, it's gonna stay private. I'm not gonna bring it up. I'm not gonna throw it at you. For example, if a man say he was beat as a child by his mama and daddy or something, I'm not gonna, that's why y'all did. No. Trauma or anything that you held to your heart and that made you or broke you, however you want to go about it, I'm not bringing that up. I'm not gonna make you feel less of a man, because it takes courage to talk. Don't break him down. Some women are spiteful like this, and I don't like it. Like, I tell my friends all the time, you bogus. Like, why would you say that? Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, man, a lot of men would rather be miserable than vulnerable. And rewind. It's the truth. Rewind.
Let me sit over here. I don't want to sit by here.
A lot of men would rather be miserable than vulnerable. And what I mean by that is a lot of us suffer from the I'm cool syndrome. I'm good syndrome. When in reality, we know exactly what it is that we want from you, and we be hoping that you figuring it out one day, instead of us just sitting you down and saying, look, baby, I need this from you. And a lot of women, especially a woman that's in a relationship, a woman that loves you, if you're able to have that kind of open communication, say, baby, I need, again, not want, not would like, not possibly, I need this from you. She gonna make it her mission to meet you there.
This is what a lot of men hope, but it doesn't seem to ever really materialize. That's what they're struggling with. And this is the same concept when we're talking about men approaching. I would hope that you see that you're locking eyes with me so I can see that you want to approach me. Well, let me know that it's okay to come. Let me know that it's okay to walk over and introduce myself. Let me know, like, give me something more than like, I mean, cause you got your back turned to me. So I don't know if you want me to approach or not. You keep on looking at me and turning your back. I don't know what you want.
For a black man to fully let you in is an honor. Because he doesn't trust a lot of people. He doesn't open up like so frivolously. He's been growing up in a world that has expressed to him that his vulnerability puts him in danger. His heart, his softness is something that he has to protect at all costs. So if you're someone who a black man trusts, you're really, really, really special. And you're really, really, really valued, because the people that are in that man's life, he will protect, like fully in that man's life, he will protect you to the ends of the earth. He cares so deeply. So if you ever have felt that you've gotten to the surface with someone and they haven't let you fully in, that is just protection for him. And you would truly need to see a black man at that depth to understand fully why he doesn't allow everyone to get there. It's a very special and sacred space. And I feel very lucky to know and love and be loved by the black men in my life, because I know how it's for, like, I know it's for life. I know I'm loved for life once they love you. So to the black man listening, to the black man out there, man, do I love you, and do I love to be loved by you. And thank you for your trust. Thank you for your safety. Thank you for your protection. I would literally go to bat for you. And I hope you're having a good day. Okay? Bye.
And she calls it an honor, rightfully so, because once you can see the mind of a man, you can understand a man. You can understand his vision and you can know where he's going. But a man too many times has tried to be the good guy and show you and tell you his vision, but you look at it and laugh. Back maybe a few slides ago or something, a few clips ago, when the man was saying, look at this, this is my work. I've had this spool for 40 years since I was a child. And she laughed at it. And I know that was a joke, but that's what most men go through a lot of times, is they'll show you something that's important and they'll say, man, this holds sentimental value. Because every single time, ever since I had this, I just come down to this, as stupid as it may sound, I would come to this and, I would kind of pull it out and it would always be there. And it's just a reminder that as long as this little thing of string can keep going, I can keep going. As long as, they put a lot on here, they didn't ever want it to end. That company that did this, they probably went out of business because they provided such good value. And that's what I want to do in my life for my family, my customers, and everybody around me.
One of my listeners left a comment about why men shut down after being vulnerable too many times. And that's because of two reasons, mainly, and they're both on you, men. Number one is you have the wrong audience, and that's not her fault, that's your fault for keeping the wrong person. Because some women just don't have the emotional capacity to hold a man's heart. They want your strength, but they don't want your trust. And so when you open up and she rejects it or minimizes it or mocks it, you learn one thing really fast, and that is staying quiet is safest. Number two is you're doing vulnerability the wrong way, and it's not because you're weak. It's just because you were never taught how to communicate your feelings without oversharing or trauma dumping or expecting immediate emotional payoff. So it backfires. You walk away feeling embarrassed, defeated, disappointed, and she walks away feeling overwhelmed, and then you shut down.
And that's where I'm going to have to stop you. Because modern women in general, they're expected to be able, they expect to be able to walk to their man and overshare. TMI, they expect to be able to say anything and everything to their man about anybody. I got pelted. I got pumped and dumped 40 times. I got a 2-man ran on me. I got Eiffel Tower, and I expect you to love me after all that. I did this. I feel that way. This happened to me. All of the nasty stuff, all of the dirty stuff, all of the terrible parts. And women, and movies have been made about this stuff. Women are expecting men to take this. But then when a man turns around and says, now this is what I'm going through, human to human, then all of a sudden he's overshared. All of a sudden it's too much for her to handle. How does that work? And that's why men say, if I can't be authentically and fully who I am, and you can't grasp and understand what I'm going through like you want me to the fullest extent what I'm going through, what you're going through, then how can we ever how can we ever get on the same page? How can we ever understand each other? Come on, guys.
Most men feel like being a man means that they're exempt from being human.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. That's a major problem with us. Because you know why? Our community don't expect for us to be human. It's like we're supposed to be some superhuman species. Because that's why we won't show emotion. I've said it before. What's our default emotion? Anger. You're confused, you get angry. You're hurt, you get angry. You get, I mean, most of the stuff that's on the negative side of the spectrum, you play it out through anger. That's the one emotion that seems like that's acceptable for us.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think
we're not
anger?
We're not taught growing up. I hate to say this, and this is gonna sound bad, but you see like the white families, not all of them, but some of them, and you see them, and they're all like, "Oh, it's okay, John boy." You know, dad's talking or mom's talking, and they're like teaching them that it's okay to like have emotions. You know what I'm saying? But we're taught. Like, I had a whooping, you done beat my ass, and you telling me to shut up and stop crying. So now I'm sitting on the sofa like this, trying to hold the cry back. But you just beat my ass, and my feelings are hurt. Because I got the whooping, even though I deserved it. Right? But I'm a kid, and I'm trying to, so don't be weak, don't cry. Wipe your tears, be a little soldier, roll your shoulders back.
Now I'm gonna really come at you.
So now you talk like, okay, so now you start trying to be vulnerable, and then some chicks be like, oh, you this old bitch, something like that.
So that's what I was gonna get at. So
like, wait a minute, I got to be a bitch because I tried to show you some emotion.
Do you feel like black women are more susceptible to kick you when you're down?
Yes.
You want to know why men don't talk about their feelings? It's because when he tells her about his feelings, he's going to end up having to listen to her feelings about how she feels about what he said, which then means that she's going to end up using all his feelings, all his words, all his emotions against him. He's then going to be apologizing for how he felt or how he said things. She's then going to tell him about how bad she's feeling and how badly hurt she is. He's then going to end up consoling her when in the first place, all he was asking for was a safe place where she could console him on his feelings, which means that now you have two people no longer communicating, and he's now looking after the female instead of actually even thinking about himself, because all his feelings, all his emotions are now being used against him, which then means that every single time he now opens his mouth, he knows that he's going to have to console her, and there'll be no one there to console him. That means that those two are going to stop communicating. He's not going to tell her how he feels anymore. He's not going to speak up anymore. And he's going to be leaving the situation and the conversation worse off than what he did when he actually opened up. So it's easier for a man to stay silent than to ever speak his emotions or speak his feelings. So basically, when a man opens up and starts speaking his feelings, he's going to end up looking after everyone else and not getting anywhere with anything that he said and getting everything used against him like it's one big war, and that's why men don't speak.
A man can only be sensitive once he's proved that he's dangerous. That's something backwards that I've noticed about men and emotional work. You need a certain amount of man points before you're even allowed to open up. If a man is struggling, lost, angry, disconnected, he's usually the one that needs the most understanding. But he has the least permission to receive. Because in our culture, vulnerability for men is conditional. It depends on what kind of man you are. If you're confident, if you're attractive, if you're successful, if people already respect you, then opening up is seen as depth, growth, emotional intelligence. But if you're broke, socially awkward, angry at the world, or don't fit a certain archetype of man, that same vulnerability gets mocked by men, by women, by society. So what happens? So then the men that most need the conversation about self-awareness, emotional intelligence, how their behaviors actually affect others, they're usually the least likely to hear the message. Not because they're dumb, not because they don't care, but because the moment the message comes up, it feels like another way that they're being told that they're failing as men. So they brush it off, call it soft, they call it fake, they call it feminine, they call it bullshit. And meanwhile, the men who are doing the work, the ones that are listening, questioning themselves, trying to understand, they keep hearing the message over and over and over and over again. Not because they're better, but because they're the ones still listening. So the conversation gets trapped. It circulates among men who already have enough stability, enough grounding, enough self-trust to engage with it. While the men who are hurting the most, the ones that carry the most resentment, confusion, disconnection, never let it in. That's the paradox. The men who need this work don't lack toughness, they lack safety. Safety to be curious, safety to be wrong, safety to say, I don't know how to do this. Because for a lot of men, showing emotional awareness before you've earned respect isn't seen as brave, it's seen as pathetic. And until we're honest about that, we'll keep mistaking resistance for arrogance, when a lot of the time, it's just fear wrapped up in shame.
Before you go, if this clip resonated with you, please do me a favor and share it with someone you care about. You never know who needed to hear this today. I appreciate you.
And it really does come down to the safeness, the safety of the situation that men are trying to get to. Like I said, they want to know that it's clear. Is it all clear? You hear people, this is why people have walkie-talkies. All clear. Is everything okay? All clear. Hey, I'm going to go in. That's why they have signals in the military. That's why you're putting your hands on another guy's shoulder. Hey, I want to know that somebody has my back. That's why you have eye signals and you're looking. That's why you have Morse code. That's why you have letters. Men have created signals and so many modes of communication. Hey, you good? You see on a football field. You see on a basketball court. I'm looking at your eyes. Hey, I'm doing head signals. I'm nodding my head. That's a form of communication. Can I rely on you? Okay, let's go. Down. Green 19. Let's go. So it's funny how men can feel safe with other men. I know you say they don't, but they can. They can feel safer. They can feel more at ease, more comfort. But around a lot of times, around modern women, it's hard for them to open up because that level of communication just isn't there.
Men don't speak no more. And I think I know too. You go. I know. You go ahead. I already know I already know why. No, for real. I think I know why. Go ahead. Why? Because I heard it plenty of times. Okay. Men don't speak no more because women have nasty ass attitudes. And they hate rejection. You feel what I'm saying? That's why men don't fucking speak no more. Real talk. They don't speak. So now they feel like we have to speak to them. Real talk. They feel like, yeah.
The number one cause of death for young men under 15 is suicide. And that men in general, the things that they describe in their notes when they commit suicide are these words, worthless and useless. And so if men feel like their identity and their value and their worth comes from money, when they don't have money or they can't be a provider and they're sort of on the edge of society, then they're literally opting out, sometimes with their lives. If you could teach a dating boot camp to all guys and even talk about what you would have them unlearn, what are some of those messages?
We would have module 1, comedy.
Ooh.
Because the only
I
thing
like
that got
that.
me laid when I was broke was I was like slightly funny sometimes. So like something around confidence, which is just standing. I noticed that posture correlates to dating success. So I'd have men learn to stand up straight and to control their posture and take up more space. And I mean that in the nicest possible way, which is don't be shriveled. So like standing up straight, which is obviously one of the things that going to the gym does. It kind of pulls you out a little bit as well. Going out of fashion, male manners. Open up the door. I still open up the door for my girlfriend every single day, even though apparently they went through a phase where that was seen as like not okay to do. But I've always taken great pride in it. And funnily enough, opening up the door for my partner makes me feel good. I'm like doing it for selfish reasons. It makes me feel like a man. It makes me feel strong.
A lot of women say men are not emotional or they don't communicate. And I want to add a layer of nuance to this conversation and these situations that men face. I was born with a rare form of a degenerative eye disease that should have left me blind, and I'm currently legally blind. It's 1 in 300,000. My specific form of it is closer to 500,000 people. This year I had something happen to me that's damn near 1 in a million. The things that I have been going through all year, only 2 people know about. Not even my mother, none of my family, no one else. And it's not that I can't feel emotions. I'm very sensitive. And by sensitive, I don't mean like I'm over emotional. I can sense my emotions before they happen. I've become quite numb, often for the past few months. And it's not that I won't allow myself to feel, but it's just like, I don't even think about it sometimes. Like I'm going through so fucking much right now. If somebody told me I love you, I'd break down crying. I would. And I don't think a lot of women really understand many of the inherent emotions that come with being a man. I think the closest that y'all can get to understanding how isolated that life is as a man is a single mom. And a single mom who, you know, got pregnant by a guy who didn't want to be there, who gaslit you or abused you. Like that's the closest that a lot of women can get to understanding like a man with mental health issues. And your child or the people that you feel responsible for depend on you. You can't show weakness. You can't show that you don't fucking have it. You can't show that you don't know how the fuck the bill's gonna get paid. You can't show your kid that you're fucking crying. You can't show that, bro. It's not the fact that you're not trying to be weak. It's the fact that you have to be fucking strong for them, bro. And that's why y'all break down when y'all kids tell you, Mommy, I love you. Mommy, you're doing good. But since I don't have anybody to tell me that, we are about to go to the gym. Love y'all.
And that's I think the thing that we have to highlight is it's not that they don't show emotion. It's the window is very small. It's extremely limited. Somebody passed away, a man would still have to work. He doesn't get an opportunity to grieve because the buck stops with me. So I kind of got to eat that up and keep going. Right? In other situations, my wife is relying on me. My kids are relying on me. And it's the wife's job at that point in time to say, well let's slow up a bit because you need to process and give that man space to do that. But a lot of times, modern women just don't read that. Number one. Number two, they don't care. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't women out there, a good portion of women, that don't give their man space to do this. But it just means that you have a lot of modern women out there that they don't understand how to put their emotions to the side and put somebody else first.
For men, shame is not a bunch of conflicting expectations. Shame is one. Do not be perceived as what? Weak. I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study. And it wasn't until a man looked at me one day after a book signing and said, I love what you have to say about shame. I'm curious why you didn't mention men. And I said, I don't study men. And he said, that's convenient. And I said, why? And he said, because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters? I said, yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down. When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit beat out of us. And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else. So I started interviewing men and asking questions. And what I learned is this. You show me a woman who can actually sit with a man in real vulnerability and fear, I'll show you a woman who's done incredible work. You show me a man who can sit with a woman who's just had it. She can't do it all anymore. And his first response is not, I unloaded the dishwasher. But he really listens, because that's all we need. I'll show you a guy who's done a lot of work. Shame is an epidemic in our culture. And to get out from underneath it, to find our way back to each other, we have to understand how it affects us and how it affects the way we're parenting, the way we're working, the way we're looking at each other.
As a couples therapist for many years, I can tell you the real reasons men don't like to talk about their feelings. They're not in the habit of doing it, so it's uncomfortable, and therefore they avoid it. They've been conditioned to see it as burdening their partner, and that vulnerability is a weakness instead of the strength we know it really is. Men have been taught to tough it out, and it will just pass, and that seems like the better choice. They're terrified that by bringing up what they're feeling, it will start a fight that escalates. If you're a man, get connected to your feelings, learn to share them. This is what women want. We want to connect with you emotionally. And if you're in a relationship with a man, you can help to make it feel safer by asking open-ended questions, being curious, and most importantly of all, when your partner opens up, listen with an open mind, validate what you hear, and don't jump in with your own lens or anything critical.
That woman that you tried that with that one time, she can weaponize that against you later on in the argument. And then we don't want to talk to not only you again, we don't even want to feel that again because we took a chance and we exposed ourselves. We exposed ourselves to somebody that said, you can trust me with this. And guess what? It's so often that women want to knock us for not being emotional, but it's because we're so fragile in that space. The moment that we bring it up or the moment that we display it, most likely to the wrong woman, it's traumatic. And we lock that part of us down.
And like I've talked about before, modern women, they have a safety net a lot of times. So they can make the mistake of opening up and then getting hurt. But men, because they have to adapt quickly to a lot of situations, they can't make that mistake very many times.
I had somebody ask me why I believe that men are unaliving themselves at alarming rates yesterday. And the truth is that men aren't taken seriously, that men aren't listened to. And when we're finally able to muster up the courage to seek help or to express what we're going through, we're met with humiliation. We're met with nobody really caring or anybody taking us seriously. And I speak from experience. I used to tell my ex-wife that I thought the world would be a better place without me because I was a burden on her and my family. She used that against me in court. She used that to make me look unstable when the truth was, I just wanted to be told that I mattered. I just wanted to be loved. You know how heartbreaking that is for a man? To finally muster up the courage to open his heart and tell you what he's going through, and it's used against you. That's why men don't speak up. When I told people the justice system that I was going through a hard time, that they humiliated me, stripped me down butt naked and threw me in a glass cell. Why would a man want to live when he reaches out to his pastor, his therapist, or a good friend, and they just tell him, let it go, you'll be fine? No one telling him that he should live, that he matters. People telling him he's weak because he's having these thoughts. Why would a man who is damaged and going through so much open himself up to humiliation? And we wonder why. It's because nobody cares. Nobody listens. Nobody takes men seriously. And yet the more they talk about it, the more humiliation they're going to go through. That's the problem. We need to be more mature about this subject. We need to listen to men. We actually need to have things in place to help men more than just a 988 number. That's why. Because of stories like mine. And most men don't want to be humiliated the way I have.
And you're dealing with somebody that's emotionally immature, emotionally stupid. Their growth is stunted and they don't realize it. And nobody around them will tell them.
Girls will always ask why men don't like to open up, but the truth is I guarantee you 99% of men that have opened up to someone have been judged for it or have had their past experiences used against them. I know it's from my first experience. Every time I've opened up, I've had everything that I've spoken about be used against me. And obviously as a man growing up and being the oldest child, every time I tried telling my parents how I felt, they always told me, you're a man up, that's it, men don't cry, men don't get upset. So I don't like opening up. And when I do open up, it means I do trust someone. But I've had my trust, be destroyed in seconds because white people have used my past and used my experiences against me. And that is why a lot of men don't like to open up these days. And it's the truth. It is the truth. And yes, I know not every girl or not every person is going to use your past against you. Or if you open up, they're not going to use your feelings against you. But it does happen quite a lot. And when something like that happens to you once, it completely changes your view on life and on people. And from then on, you just have to try and accept and try and move on. But it's nearly impossible. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, though. It's the verb.
I refuse to be blamed for the fact that you had your awakening 20 years too late. At any other point in our marriage, if you had decided you wanted to go back to dance, I would have been nothing but support.
Oh, so when would I have done that, huh? Between which of your anxiety attacks? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I did not mean. Where are you going?
And that's the other thing. You're like, you've been thinking this for how long? How long? Yeah, I thought we were having a great time. And all of a sudden, you hate me.
And you've been hating me.
Yeah, and it's just like, you're a fake person now. Like, now I can't trust anytime things are good. Because all of a sudden, it's just going to be like, oh no, I gave you an attitude 5 years ago. And you've been resenting me this entire time.
Yeah, at least they know where we stand at all times.
Yes.
That sounds healthy.
No, men should appreciate that women bring up what they're upset about. But they don't. They're
true.
like, oh my God, are we really going to argue? Bitch, yes.
The real reason why a lot of men struggle to open up, whether it's with their friends, their partners, or even their parents, is because we try to process them the same way we process women. Women are very receptive to face-to-face interactions. As in, I can sit a woman down. If she's struggling with something, I can talk to her and say, hey, I'm here for you. You can open up to me. What's bothering you? Talk to me, because it works. And because it works with women, and men are usually seen as the more stoic people, we think this works for both genders. And the reason why we then look at men and they're like, oh, this guy's just a stone cold guy, is because men are hardwired to not be receptive to this. If you sit a man down, and I've experienced this many times in my life, I'm going through something, my friend notices, or let's say my parents notice, and they sit me down and they're like, oh, hey, what's going on? Talk to me. I feel such a heavy burden on my shoulders and on my chest. I don't feel like I can articulate it. So I'll tell you what works. And this is very helpful to parents, especially dads, to partners that are willing to support their husbands, and also to friends that are willing to look out for their male friends. If you have a friend, a male friend that you know is going through something and is struggling, instead of trying to do face-to-face, anchor it with an activity. Very simple. You message your friend or your partner or even your son, say, hey, let's go out to this place. Let's go out for dinner. The primary intention is we're going out for dinner. We now go for dinner. On the drive, whilst we're eating, on the way back, there's many pockets of opportunities where we can talk about things. A lot of people don't acknowledge this. Men are very good at opening up when the primary intention isn't to open up. So have you ever been on a drive and you just randomly start talking about life? Yeah, this has been bothering me. And then you turn to your friend and you're like, oh, like, talk to me, man. What's been going on?
all of a sudden he drops a bag on you. He goes, yo, this is what's going on in my life. I've been struggling with this. And then it creates the ground to have more healthier conversations. Same thing with a partner. If you're willing to support your husband and he's going through something, go do an activity. Then randomly talk about things. You can drop your mask first, talk about something that may be bothering you. And you never know, that may give him the ability and the comfort to speak about what's bothering him. Same thing with a father. The point in case here is, stop expecting men to open up the same way women open up. This is fundamentally an issue. A man wouldn't open up if you sit down with him and say, oh, hey, how's life going? Talk to me, man. I'm here for you. Because why? Two things. A man's ego is very fragile, so he'll feel emasculated. And number two, it's too much pressure. And the pressure to deliver may need a midwife. Don't let that fly over your heads. I love you guys.
So growing up, my grandma would always say, if a man tells you he's depressed, he's just gay. So for my whole life, anytime a guy was sad, I was like, oh, he's just a homosexual. I remember my friend Trevor, he was like, Sienna, I'm going to get on Wellbutrin. And I was like, okay, slay queen, slay.
I don't even understand why that would even be the case. How would him being depressed make him gay? That's what I don't understand.
It's really hard because a lot of men want to reach out and they want to talk to other people, but they're either afraid that their guy friends aren't like that. They're not, quote unquote, that type of guy. They're not touchy-feely. They're not deep, right? But all men are wearing masks around other men because they don't want to show that. So that's number one. And number two, a lot of men have had the experience of opening up to women in their lives and being rejected for it. Because women are also programmed to see men as weak if they express emotion. But also that's a subset of women, right?
Yeah.
But it's a subset of women that a lot of men have been exposed to, because if you're a man who doesn't know how to relay his emotions in a proper way, doesn't know how to communicate them properly, you're likely not going to be matched with someone who can receive them properly.
Yeah.
So it creates this cycle of self-fulfilling prophecy where you think, if I express my emotions, I'm going to be weak. And then you express them to someone who will see you as weak. And then you continue the cycle of holding it in. But
the number one reason why men don't open up in relationships or when they're struggling to handle their demons in general is because they don't know how to start the conversation. It likely has something to do with you or something you're contributing to. And so the provider side of him doesn't want to ever hurt you. That, coupled with the fact that at some point he probably did it and then had it thrown back in his face later on down the road. But even when he realizes that true masculinity is the ability to be gentle and vulnerable and at the same time be dangerous when needed, he still runs it through his head 100 times and it never comes out right. So be patient. You're awesome. Keep going.
And you keep talking about he quiet, he shut down, he's in his man cave, he won't open up because when he did open up, you shut the door on him. When the man opens up, when he really opens up, don't you use what he said when he was open to prove a point when you want to win an argument. You will never hear the full story from us ever again.
And the theme over and over again needs to be to modern women, be careful. Be careful. And I also want you to take note in how many of these times have you heard of a man getting violent, doing crazy stuff? Women don't feel safe. They feel like men are going to threaten them. They feel like men have anger management or anger issues. Men are erratic. Men can't be trusted. But you know, you don't see men acting crazy with these women. They just want to be understood.
If a man has been through shit and he hasn't actually like dealt with it, and you want to push it out of him, you gonna see some shit.
No, but I'm not pushing
it.
You have got to open up at some point. I don't know what else to tell you. I need to understand what is going on.
Some sad story? You trying to feel sorry for me or something?
I don't want to feel sorry for you. I want to understand you. I want to know what is going on with you in my house.
I don't want to talk about anything. I've been trying to forget it. It's dead. Leave it. Let it lie. I'm talking about that shit no more.
most people wouldn't understand. That's why I stopped talking about it. That's why I stopped trying to explain. Some things are easier to carry when you keep them to yourself. Because the truth is, even if they listen, they won't really hear you.
I talk to myself. I used to think I was weird for doing it, then I read it. All geniuses talk to themselves. I'm in tune with myself. I can be alone. Is it difficult? It is. A lot of people can't be alone with themselves.
I used to struggle a lot when, in my personal relationships, men couldn't open up emotionally. And then I became a therapist, and I thought it would be different, but it wasn't. I found myself getting very agitated when my male clients would come in for trauma work and want to have a quick fix, or would struggle to identify what emotions they were feeling. I almost saw it as resistance, and then I felt the same agitation. Guess what happened? It was a trend where every male client that I was seeing would drop off after 3 sessions. So that got me thinking, it has to be something to do with me too. And it's not the fact that men don't have emotions. And I guess that was my agitation, is that I can see that they're responding physically. I can hear their tone of voice change. And when I ask them what they're noticing, they tell me they're fine. But the truth is that many men, as we know, were socialized not to have them. They were taught to shut them down. And it's easy to say that they can grow up and learn how to do this. But when these patterns are taught so early in their life, it becomes automatic and unconscious, and really takes a lot of intentional work and likely an ability to actually notice these feelings as they come up in order for them to actually be able to synthesize them into verbal information that they can share with you. What's even more important to acknowledge is that on average, men's brains have less crosstalk between their emotional centers and their verbal centers, which means when they experience a feeling, words don't come so easily. It's important to know that there's a range here. So some men show similar integration between these two centers as women might, and vice versa. Women might show less integration in these centers so don't assume. And particularly when strong emotions come up, on average, men experience them more as agitation or tension over hurt or sadness. And that doesn't mean that men can't grow from here. It just means we need to start having to meet them where they're at. And that can just be as simple as starting with what they feel physically. Is that feeling they are feeling really intense? Is that feeling uncomfortable or comfortable? How uncomfortable is it? Does this make you want to approach or avoid right now? What is your body wanting to do around this? Sometimes it involves offering some small concrete solutions first, because there's also more communication between their emotional centers and their action centers in their brain when they're feeling high emotions, more than what we would see in the average woman's brain. Applying this to your relationships, if you're with a man who struggles to express their emotions in words, don't shame them. Just meet them where they're at. It really doesn't mean he's doing it on purpose, or that he is resisting or avoiding or being difficult. It is that he's probably generally struggling with how to do that. And what I've noticed now in my sessions, men will begin to gradually open up. We just need to start with what's happening right now, immediately in the moment.
And this is really what modern women are terrible at. Meeting a man where he is. So many times, even in dating, a man has to come to the woman. He has to meet the woman where she is, on her turf, on her terms. But when a man says, okay, can you come to where I'm at? Oh, I can't do that. I don't feel safe. I don't feel vulnerable. And I wouldn't be a lady if I did that. You're supposed to be the man. You're supposed to be masculine. You're supposed to initiate. Right, I do that most of the time, but can't you help me out this time? No.